I spent nearly 20 hours completing the entire Borderlands 4 campaign, every main mission, every boss fight, all the twists and turns, and now it's time to break it all down for you. The big question is, Borderlands up there with the classics, or does it stumble at the finish line? Here's my full verdict, so you don't have to play it yourself. Right now in the background, I'm showing you the main areas at the bottom. The starting area down the bottom, nice and green and vibrant. Up in the top left, you've got your desert area, more in for psychos, and then in the top right, you've got your mountain area, which is absolutely fantastic. And then in the center, you've got the city. Now, for me, the way that the map is laid out is absolutely fantastic. It's enjoyable, it's nicely paced, everything feels fantastic, and it feels like Borderlands. That is the big key. It feels like a Borderlands game. Now, before we get too far into this review, let's aim for 20 likes on this video. Leave a comment if you've played Borderlands. Let me know your thoughts on it. And of course, subscribe. We are well on our way to 1.8k subscribers. Now, here we are back at the starting section. It's nice, colourful, beautiful, and there's so much to do. As I say, I've only completed the main story, and it took me around about 20 hours. But there's bounties, there's side missions, there's loads going on in this game, and that is fantastic for Borderlands. It gives you that experience of keep playing, keep doing different things. And straight away, you know, the overall experience is very enjoyable. From the first mission, the game feels alive, colourful, and chaotic in only a Borderlands way feeling. And honestly, I'd put this one right up there with Borderlands 1 and 2, which for me is still the gold standard for this series. The pacing early on is tight, the tutorial isn't dragged out too much, and the game throws you into the action pretty quickly. The different Vault Hunters, now after the games have been updated, feel a little bit more balanced. Although I feel the one I chose to play for, Amon, is still very almost underpowered compared to the other Vault Hunters and their special abilities. Especially one of the Vault Hunters will basically, you can one-shot any boss you want to with the right combination, the right setup. I don't feel Amon's powers is really that overpowered, and you know, usually get stuck in more bother than anything trying to get his abilities thrown off, especially with the axe when you have to throw it on target, because if you miss, it doesn't do anything at all and it comes back and has to recharge, and that's a bit of a shame. Now, what's new in Borderlands 4? Because obviously the series has been around for a while now, so why should you come and play it? But what really makes Borderlands feel fresh is the new features. The jetpack, which you see on Muse here in the background, allows for different sort of approaches on missions. It allows you to traverse the terrain differently, and it's really, really useful for boss fights as well, where they want to get up in close in person with you to do a lot of damage. You can use the jetpack to almost bounce away from them, get your distance, and then, you know, re-engage when you're comfortable to re-engage. It's not just an add-on that they've thrown in and, you know, almost forgotten about. It is a sort of add-on where you're using it throughout the game. And the other one is the grappling hook. Again, fantastic. It's actually used in some of the boss fights. You need to use the grappling hook, which is great. They've not just thrown in a feature and gone, let's forget about it and see if the player wants to do anything. They've actually introduced features in the game that are crucial to how you play the game, and that's fantastic for the guys to do. You know, I really did enjoy using the jetpack and the grappling hook in different situations. Good thing with the grappling hook as well is you can pull like bombs towards you and then throw them away, so you know, you can keep the distance if you want to keep the distance. And, you know, it's not just, as I say, it's not just a gimmick. The actual design encounters around these tools, and it adds a whole new layer to the classic Borderlands gunplay. On top of that, the new enemy types keep you on your toes. Some are bullet sponges, others force you to change your tactics, and it keeps the combat loop from feeling stale. Towards the end, at later stages of the game as you get on, you meet like crystallized versions of the enemies where you have to take the crystals out because they're immune until you do that. And while, yes, okay, it's just bullet spongy and waste of ammunition sometimes, it does force you to change the way of playing, and does force you to change your opinion on, you know, well, this boss here has got that crystal around him, so I'm going to have to change the way I approach him. And that's fantastic. It's not just run and gun gameplay, which the earlier board games nailed fantastically, but got very repetitive very quickly. This one, it has loads of gameplay, it has loads of guns, but it just forces you to play in a different way. And as I say, you've got to give them credit. The guns are a lot better balanced as well. In the past Borderlands games, Borderlands 3, the wacky weapons could sometimes feel like they were trying too hard. Here, the variety is there, but it's not too much in your face. You're not constantly drowning in loot that you don't want. It feels like they've finally nailed that balance between risk and reward. Story-wise, it's a solid campaign. Pacing is good early on, and there's always a reason to push forward. Some of the quests are actually quite bold, from Zadra's death to Lilith's surprise return to the final showdown with RJ. And the atmosphere in places like the mountain missions or the Ripper facility feels like they really tried to nail that immersion, and they really stood out to me for that. But there is a big but coming here. If you're someone like me who focuses solely on the main story, just for you guys so you can see it, the end game is rough, and I mean really rough. By the final act, you're often under-leveled and outgunned. You'll come up against enemies several levels higher than you, and the fights start to feel unfair. Now I know, side missions have always been integral to Borderlands. That's part of the DNA of the series. But in 2025, I'd expect them to put some sort of level scaling in place for the people who just want to experience a campaign without the grinding. The fact that they really didn't do this hurts the momentum at the end, and it easily is the biggest gaming flaw for me. It almost knocks you off your stride, and it's so annoying that you can get knocked off just by, the fact that I could put some simple mechanic in that scales the enemies to your level, so you're not constantly fighting just overpowered enemies that kick your ass every 10 seconds. Now, again, while that is really a big issue in the game, there is not much more issues for me. Early experiences have been fantastic for me on PC. It's not been too laggy or anything. There's been occasional jolts, but nothing too much, nothing to, write home about. The way you can traverse there with a motorbike is absolutely fantastic. You can call it in most areas and it gets you out of it. Instead of having to run to a catch-a-ride system when it feels like you're running for miles and ages, you can quickly jump on your bike and traverse the land really easily. And for me, I think Borderlands, they've nailed it with this one. Gearbox have done really, really well. And they've really pushed on and made this game fantastic for everybody playing it. If you're new to the series or a returning player, this is the solid staple of what Borderlands should be doing. I'm looking forward to seeing if they release any story DLC. I'm sure they will. It's Gearbox Studios. We all know what they're like. They will be releasing some, and it's going to be enjoyable. Will I play through as a different character? I don't know. I do want to add that they have fixed that as well. When you get to the end of the game, if you want to quickly level up and skip all the main missions and just carry on at end game, you can do that, which is fantastic. It stops you playing through all the same missions again if you wanted to, and just try out different Vault Hunters. When you also reach the end game, you get specializations as well, which is really cool. So once you've done your skill trees, you can then go into specializations, which give you bonus gun damage, bonus health, bonus reload time. So they really have cared for the end game in this one, and that's massive. They haven't just gone, well, you finished the game now, there's nothing more you can do. They've really, really tried to get the experience, to keep you playing, to keep you grinding, to keep you invested in the game, and that is really, really good from Gearbox Studios. Here you see in the background one of those crystallized enemies I'm on about. He's immune to damage until I hit those crystals. Fantastic little addition there. So for me, where does this leave us? Borderlands 4 is an extremely enjoyable game. It's fun, it's loud, it's creative, and delivers some of the best moments the franchise has had in years. The new tools like the jetpack, grappling hook, and obviously a motorbike that you can spawn in wherever you want to are brilliant additions. The enemies are well designed, the gunplay has finally found that sweet spot. The different areas are bright, colourful, and then you go into your sandy, deserty, but the areas are still interesting to explore, and it keeps you wanting to explore, which is fantastic. The lack of a proper scaling in the end game is a serious letdown for me. It doesn't ruin the experience, but it does make those final hours feel like a slog if you're not a side mission completionist. For me, Borderlands sits alongside 1 and 2 as best in the series. It's not perfect, but it's damn close. My final score, 8.5 out of 10. And that wraps up Borderlands here on my channel. Hours of chaos and one hell of a ride. Thank you ever so much to everyone that's viewed this series. You're all legends. Next up on the channel, we've got Battlefield 6, so make sure you hit that sub, join the Diner crew, and stick around for the next big adventure. And I will catch you in the next episode, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.